Millionaire's daring challenge exposed. Chef's incredible 30-day transformation amazes everyone. In the heart of Maple Grove, Lisa felt like a fire waiting to be ignited. At 35, she was a single mother juggling part-time shifts at the local diner, raising her two kids, Timmy and Emma, while her dreams of culinary greatness flickered dimly. Each day, she slipped on her diner apron, the weight of bills and her estranged father's judgment pressing on her shoulders. At home, her tiny kitchen was filled with the sense of forgotten recipes and dreams left to simmer too long. But a spark was coming, one that could do more than just light her passion, it could transform her life. When Thomas Avery, a wealthy entrepreneur, burst onto the scene with news of his daring culinary challenge, a wave of excitement swept through the town. "This competition has a cash prize that could change a life," he exclaimed, his eyes gleaming as he described how the winner would be crowned Maple Grove's champion chef. But not all contestants were required to use ordinary ingredients sourced from their community. Lisa's heart raced. Could this be her moment? As she tilled her small garden, gathering squash and herbs, she felt roots anchored deep in Maple Grove. The laughter of Timmy and Emma floated through the window, reminding her of the love that kept her going. But just as hope bloomed, the voice of her father echoed in her mind, skeptical and critical. "You'll never find stability in that dream," he said once, his disappointment etched across his face. That familiar tightness formed in her chest. Lisa's excitement clashed with doubt when she discovered her main competitor was Alex, a well-connected young chef with the edge of privilege on his side. He whipped up dishes with his polished culinary skills as effortlessly as he poured on the charm. But for Lisa, every shared ingredient with local farmers became a battleground against his slick, corporate-backed tactics. When Alex attempted sabotage, daring her to fail, the community rallied around her, sharing stories of late-night shifts, crumbling roofs, and the fierce loyalty that defined Maple Grove. As the competition unfolded, Lisa faced mounting pressure. Each school drop-off, every evening spent cooking or homework encountered hurdles. Yet her children became her anchor, their cheerleading spurring Lisa on in the face of exhaustion. It was Emma's little hands that helped measure spices and Timmy's heartfelt encouragement that reignited her passion. "You can do it, Mom," they declared one afternoon, their faces bright with belief that a chance encounter with Mr. Jenkins, a local farmer she'd long overlooked, altered her perspective. Their growing friendship brought warmth and shared joys, a reminder that community bonds and pride in simple food were as essential as the finest training. But Lisa wrestled with pride, grappling with the very insecurity she'd sought to bury. Could she really count on others? With the competition's final showdown approaching, Lisa's heart swelled with resilience as she concocted a dish that mirrored her journey. Each ingredient spoke of love, struggle, and hope, the flavors of her community. But days before she would present her creation, a courthouse scandal involving the judges erupted, casting clouds over the fairness of the competition. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Standing on the precipice of change, Lisa wrestled with the urgent question: could her culinary passion lead to healing not just for herself, but for the fractured relationships within her family? With hope gripping her heart, she braced for the challenge ahead. The journey promised turbulence and triumph, but one thing was clear: the path toward reclaiming her identity and perhaps her family was about to unfold, and she was determined to seize it. The days leading up to the competition felt like an emotional roller coaster for Lisa. Tension hung heavy in the air, but hope flickered in her chest. Whenever self-doubt tried to creep in, she looked into her children's eyes. Their unwavering support was a chorus of "You've got this, Mom," that echoed in her mind. It gave her the energy to push through the long hours, the tears, and the fears. The kitchen at the diner was buzzing with the lunch rush, but Lisa's focus was elsewhere. She chopped vegetables with precision, her mind racing with thoughts of the upcoming showdown. The scandal surrounding the judges made her question everything. Would the outcome be fair? Would she shine amidst the chaos? Her hands moved methodically as she lost herself in the rhythm of cooking. But as the last customers left the diner, she felt the weight of worry settle back over her. "Mom, you gonna make that special dish for the contest?" Timmy asked, sliding into a seat at the counter. His innocent question hit her harder than she expected. "I'm working on it, buddy," she replied, a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Emma joined them, cradling a crumpled drawing of their family. "Don't let them get to you," she declared, flipping the picture around for Mom to see. "You're the best chef ever." Lisa's heart ached with warmth. Just the thought of disappointing them felt unbearable. "You know what? How about we work on it together?" Their enthusiasm transformed the small kitchen into a zone of creativity. They sang silly songs while shredding cheese and stirring sauces. The laughter lightened Lisa's heart, reminding her that culinary innovation was more than just competition. It was about moments like these that reminded her of why she loved cooking in the first place. As she prepared her dish, the secret was simple yet profound community. She infused it with flavors that told stories, not just of her journey, but of every farmer, each neighbor, and every struggle her town had faced together. It wasn't just about winning, it was about connection. The night before the competition, Lisa lay awake, staring at the ceiling, the weight of uncertainty heavy in her chest. Her father's dismissive words echoed, each replay deeper than the last. She fought back tears, reminded of how far she had come, not just in terms of food, but also in reclaiming her narrative. When dawn broke, it brought a renewed sense of clarity. If fate had shaped her battle against doubt and fear, she would use it. Competitors didn't just zone in on plates, they showcased who they were. If the judges took notice of that, maybe, just maybe, she could change more than her future. As she donned her apron for the last time, determination coursed through her veins. She was ready to step into the arena, empowered by the love of her children and the strength of her community. But as Lisa stepped onto the competition stage, something surprising happened. Alex stood before her, a look in his eyes that hinted at change. Was it admiration? Regret? Or did he have a plan? "Are you ready for this?" he asked, surprising her with a grin that held a flicker of a challenge. Lisa felt her heart race. This was more than just about food. It was about standing her ground and facing a rival who had, until now, only ever weighed her down. "Ready as I'll ever be," she replied, choosing strength. The tension simmered, and as they moved to their stations, the crowd's murmurs faded into a background hum. This could be the moment that changed everything. Yet, with that thought came another creeping realization: what if the challenge was more about overcoming obstacles than just winning? With every ingredient she set into motion, Lisa felt a newfound purpose rising in her. But could this competition really spark the change she desperately sought? The clock was ticking, and the fire within her was just beginning to blaze. The air buzzed with power and anticipation as competitors fidgeted at their stations, waiting for the signal to begin. Lisa took a deep breath, letting the aroma of fresh herbs and spices fill her lungs. This was her moment. She glanced over at Alex once more, catching his eye as he prepared his own ingredients. A flicker of something unspoken passed between them, a shared understanding of the stakes higher than any dish they were about to create. 3, 2, 1, go. The referee's voice cut through the tension, and the chaos erupted. Lisa sprang into action, her hands moving instinctively. She chopped, sautéed, and blended, immersing herself in the rhythm of her craft. But as she worked, the faint, distant murmurs of the crowd became sharper. Each participant was drawing on their emotions, pouring their stories onto their plates. She could feel their energy, the desire to succeed, and she let it fuel her own passions. "Focus, focus," she whispered to herself, reminding her heart of the little faces waiting for her at home. She whisked her sauce, whispering secret hopes into each stir. Memories came rushing back of family dinners filled with laughter and her mother's comforting words. It was never about the food, but what it represented: the love shared, the bonds formed. As she let her heart guide her, she could almost hear her children cheering her on, spurring her to push herself even further. Across the way, the sizzling sounds of Alex's pans clashed with her own. He was serious, determined, but Lisa noticed something different about him today. There was an edge in his creativity she hadn't seen before. The pressure of this competition had transformed them both, igniting something they hadn't realized was there. His voice, unexpectedly loud amidst the clattering pans, called out a chef's challenge, a twist they both knew was risky. "Hey, Lisa," he shouted, his usual smugness replaced with a tinge of camaraderie. "How about we make this a round of flipping magic? Winner takes glory. Loser, well, let us not think about that." Lisa barely contained a smile. Sure, he was being his competitive self, but there was something in his eyes' earnestness mixed with respect. "Fine by me, but prepare to lose," she shot back, gleefully mixing her cream with determination. Time slipped away as the competition unfolded. As the clock ticked down, the atmosphere thickened like the sauces simmering on the stoves. With 5 minutes left, Lisa focused on her dish's final touches. Every sprinkle of seasoning, every garnish was deliberate, a dance of flavors that reflected her journey, her community, and her spirit. 30 seconds. The referee warned, and the frenzy picked up. Lisa plated her dish with precision, each element showcasing the heart of her culinary narrative. As she stepped back to admire her work, she felt a rush of satisfaction. This wasn't just food. It was a testament to her resilience, her children, and her town. Lisa took a breath, forcing back tears of joy that threatened to spill. But as she caught Alex's glance one last time, there was an unsettling feeling stirring inside her. Had they truly forged this new connection, or was the intensity of the competition simply blurring everything? With the final countdown hitting 0, the air was electric. The judging panel moved in, and Lisa's heart raced. This was it. But deep down, beyond the excitement, a question lingered: would she find victory here, or had this experience already changed her more than any trophy ever could? The judges nodded, and anticipation hung like a cloud over the stage. But what were they really searching for? As the judges moved closer, Lisa felt her stomach flutter. Each step they took felt loaded with scrutiny. What did they want to see? Did they sense her heart in her dish, or was it just another culinary test to them? She took a moment to gather her thoughts, stories buzzing in her mind like the crowd's whispered excitement around her. The panel, a trio of well-respected chefs, examined her plate with focused intensity. They leaned in, their brows furrowing, and Lisa held her breath. The first judge, a famed pastry chef with a reputation for being unforgiving, scooped a bite with deliberate care. Time slowed as he savored the flavors. Lisa's thoughts raced. Was it too salty? Did the flavors balance just right? He nodded slowly, then turned to his colleagues. "There's a deep warmth here, it's like a hug on a plate," he remarked, his voice thick with delight. Relief washed over her. Yet that relief was mixed with something deeper. This was about so much more than a hug. The second judge, a well-traveled culinary expert, lifted his fork and murmured, "And yet, it carries a story I can taste." Lisa's heart swelled. She could see the emotions reflected on his face, echoing the feelings she poured into her creation. Then the third judge, a woman renowned for championing new culinary voices, leaned forward. "This dish speaks of perseverance, of roots. Tell me, what was your inspiration?" Lisa took a breath, ready to share. "It's a reflection of my life, my family," she began, glancing at the crowd. "The herbs are from my garden. The spices represent my upbringing. Each element is something I hold dear." She matched her words to the rhythm of her heart, her voice steadier than she felt on the inside. The crowd murmured, and Lisa could feel their energy shifting, hopeful, supportive. They were here for her journey too. But then, that unsettling feeling crept back in. Was this really about the cooking? Or was it about something deeper, the challenge to push past boundaries, to connect? As the judges continued tasting, Lisa stole a glance at Alex. He was plating his dish with a level of finesse she hadn't seen before. For a brief moment, they locked eyes, and something shifted again, an unspoken acknowledgement that they were both in their own battles. She thought about her kids, the memories every ingredient summoned. Would her story resonate? Did they truly support her as she hoped? Would they see this as more than just a contest for the shiny trophy? The judges began to confer. Lisa's heart raced, sinking and soaring with each flicker of their expressions. The chatter of the crowd filled her ears, a blend of hope and anxiety. Suddenly, she realized that despite its outcome, this experience was bigger than she ever imagined. Every participant had a narrative that mattered. Finally, the judges turned back towards the audience, and the moment of truth began to draw near. Thank you all for bringing incredible dishes today, the first judge began, but Lisa's heart was pounding, drowning out his words. Then the second judge held up a hand. But one plate became our beacon of inspiration. Lisa barely breathed, her world hanging in that moment. Who would they crown as the winner? Let us find out, the third judge said, smiling knowingly, and it all seemed to hang in the air like a vast canvas yet to be painted. What awaited her on the other side of this announcement? The words lingered in the air as the judges leaned forward, their expressions unreadable. Lisa's heart thudded in her chest, pounding with an intensity she had never felt before. She clutched her apron, feeling the fabric twist tighter against her fingers. After much discussion, the first judge began, his voice steady. We are pleased to announce the winner of today's challenge. Lisa could barely concentrate on his words. The world seemed to fade away, leaving only the pounding of her heart and the scattered murmurs of the audience. He paused, and the silence was thick, almost suffocating. The chef, whose dish not only showcased remarkable skill, but also told a profound story, he continued, "Is Lisa." A wave of disbelief surged through her, followed by a rush of joy so overwhelming it felt surreal. It took a moment for the words to fully sink in, bouncing around her mind like startled fireflies. Lisa felt tears welling in her eyes as she lifted her gaze toward the crowd. Applause erupted like thunder, drowning out her thoughts. Alex's face broke into a wide smile, and she caught a glimpse of pride shining in his eyes. As she stepped forward to accept her trophy, a mix of elation and gratitude washed over her. She could hardly believe this moment had come. All the late nights, the endless practice, the self-doubt, it was all worth it. The moment felt magical. But as the cheers rang in her ears, a whisper of fear tugged at her heart. What came next? Success often felt like a door opening to a whole new set of challenges. The third judge approached her, handing over the trophy. This is only the beginning for you, Lisa. Embrace it, she urged, her eyes sparkling with encouragement. In her hands, the trophy felt heavy, brimming with expectations. Thank you. Truly, thank you. I never imagined I'd be here, Lisa said, her voice shaking slightly as she realized the magnitude of what this meant. But as the crowd continued to roar with admiration, something lingered in her mind. This win was amazing, yes, but now everyone would be watching her closely. The pressure to replicate this success was already creeping in like an unwelcome shadow. What would the next challenge look like? And would she have the capacity to rise to that occasion? The questions swirled around her, mixing with her triumph, leaving a bittersweet taste that clashed with the sweet victory of the day. When she turned, she caught Alex's gaze once more. His eyes held a different depth now, an understanding of what was at stake for both of them. They were both on paths that had suddenly changed, with stakes that had grown higher than she ever dared think. The crowd began to disperse. Lisa felt the weight of her new reality settle over her like a cloak. The trophy in her hand felt different now. It was not just a symbol of victory. It was a beacon guiding her toward a future that was still uncertain. What if the next challenge pushed her beyond her limits? What if she couldn't meet everyone's expectations? Would the cheers fade into silence if she faltered? With each question, the thrill of victory waned slightly, replaced by the dawning stress of what lay ahead. More than a cooking competition, this was an unveiling of what she could become or what she might lose. And as she stared at the trophy that held her aspirations, she knew the next step was lurking just out of sight. Her heart raced once more as she wondered, would she be ready for whatever came next? Lisa stood frozen for a moment, the heat of the spotlight still wrapping around her like a fiery embrace. It took all her willpower to step away from the podium, the trophy perched in her palm like a fragile bird. She glanced toward the exit, her mind buzzing with noise, a cacophony of familiar doubts flaring up. The crowd as cheers began to fade, merging with the chatter of the other contestants who were now gathering around, some congratulating her, while others gave cordial nods, as if acknowledging the unspoken competition that still loomed. "Hey, you really did it," shouted Mia, her eyes wide with excitement. The young chef had been Lisa's greatest competitor, yet there was genuine warmth in her tone. "I can't believe I lost to you. You deserve this." "Thanks, Mia," Lisa replied, her smile wavering as she contemplated the weight of glory versus the burden of expectation. "It feels surreal." As the moments spun by, Snippets of conversation drifted to Lisa friends boasting of their cooking skills. Fans crowded around Alex, who was sharing proudly the news of her win. But with each passing moment, Lisa's heart began to sink with uncertainty. The trophy glinted in her grasp, but beneath its polished surface lay the raw nerves of transformation. "Are you ready for what's ahead?" Alex slipped beside her, his expression serious, yet filled with soft encouragement. "Everyone will want to know what you're cooking next. You've set the bar high." "I don't know if I can keep this up," Lisa replied, letting out a breath she didn't know she was holding. "What if I disappoint everyone?" "Just remember why you started," he urged, his voice low and steady. "Remember the joy you find in cooking. It's about telling your story, not just winning." His words settled over her like a warm blanket. But the anxiety didn't dissipate completely. A part of her knew he was right. This was her passion, her art. But the looming challenges ahead felt like mountains to climb, each with its own steep descent. Later that night, in the quiet of her apartment, the trophy sat on the kitchen table, spotlighted by the soft glow of the overhead light. She walked to it, running her fingers over its smooth surface. She thought of all she had gone through to get here and how fragile this moment felt. A million doubts crowded her mind. Would she be able to create something worthy of the title? Then came the email notification, an alert breaking the silence that hung in the air. She opened it, her eyes scanning the words about the upcoming challenges, and her stomach twisted with a blend of anxiety and excitement. The details were clear. In 30 days, she would compete again, a new theme, new judges, and the expectations of not just the audience, but her own. A transformation awaited. 30 days, she murmured, feeling a mix of thrill and dread. What have I gotten myself into? She knew she had to summon every ounce of creativity and heart she could find. She thought of the flavors she loved, the emotions she wanted her dishes to evoke, and how she didn't want it to be merely about winning. It had to be genuine. Lisa rested her forehead against the cool surface of the trophy. Could she truly evolve in this pressing timeline? The what-ifs nestled deep inside her like a swarm of restless bees. What if she failed to live up to the challenge this time? Would she still find joy in her cooking, or would it all turn to ash in her hands? The weight of her decision hung in the air like a thick fog, and in that moment, one stark realization emerged. She was just beginning to unravel her potential. "Let us see where this takes me," she whispered to herself, her heart racing with that bittersweet mix of fear and hope. The next 30 days loomed ahead, a landscape dotted with obstacles and potential. Would she tame this wild journey, or would it tame her instead? As she powered down her laptop, a message flickered across the screen, an invitation to a closed forum for contestants like her. With shaking fingers, she clicked accept. What unexpected encounters awaited her on this digital journey? Would she find allies or rivals in this new world? The uncertainty hung tantalizingly in the air. Lisa settled into her chair, taking a deep breath before scrolling through the forum that now stretched before her. The digital space buzzed with energy. Messages streamed by, each one filled with excited chatter, advice, and shared experiences. It felt like stumbling upon an underground cooking club where everyone was eager to share their secrets and fears. "Just got my theme. Farm to table. Can't wait to show off my skills." Read one post, accompanied by an array of vibrant emojis. Other posts followed, ideas and inspirations flooding her mind. Yet with every enthusiastic message, her heart quickened with anxiety. "Why did I think I could do this?" she muttered under her breath, watching as the digital community blossomed around her. She could feel the weight of these now unknown competitors, their talents casting long shadows over her victory. The trophy had felt so full of promise earlier, but now it felt like a reminder of her newfound expectations. A message pinged, brightening her screen. It was from an experienced contestant named Jake, who shared a wealth of knowledge about the importance of recipe testing in the lead-up to challenges. "Don't be afraid to fail," he wrote. "Each misstep opens a door to creativity." His words struck a chord. Could it be true? What if failure wasn't the end, but a stepping stone to something greater? This could be the release she needed. The idea lit a flicker of hope inside her. Lisa began to reply, sharing her own apprehensions, but also her dreams about the themes she loved. She wrote about her passion for merging flavors and memories, how food wasn't just sustenance, it was a narrative waiting to be told. Before she knew it, she was deep into conversations. Laughter filled her living room as she typed, and the weight on her chest began to lift. A newfound sense of camaraderie tied her to these fellow chefs. There was something beautifully contagious in their determination, igniting sparks of ambition within her. As she read more, Lisa stumbled upon a post highlighting the positive impact of mentorship, asking participants to share their biggest inspirations. One name kept coming up: Chef Franklin. An icon in her field, he was revered not just for his culinary prowess, but for the way he lifted others. Finding mentors was a challenge, but she longed to connect with someone like him. Instinctively, Lisa wrote a post expressing her admiration and asking for any tips on how to reach out to chefs she admired. Almost immediately, replies came. Some offered names of platforms to engage with professionals. Others told stories of their own rejections and how they persevered. A mixture of encouragement and reality flooded her senses. It felt exhilarating yet terrifying. As midnight approached, Lisa grinned at her growing list of contacts. The trophy now stood off to the side, overshadowed by the rush of adrenaline coursing through her veins. Suddenly, there was an alert. It was Mia, her competitor, commenting on her post. "So proud of you for stepping out. You have what it takes. Let us cook together sometime." Lisa's heart swelled. Was it possible? Could she form a friendship out of competition? There was something about the idea of collaboration that lit up her spirit. Maybe this journey didn't have to be solitary. Perhaps, in these next 30 days, she would find her way, not just in honing her skills, but in building relationships that would redefine success. But just as enthusiasm began to bloom, a shadow of doubt returned. What if opening up to others put her at a disadvantage? Her instincts battled fiercely with her heart as she logged off for the night. Excitement and worry curled around her thoughts like smoke from a baking oven. Could this path lead her to the transformation she so desperately needed? In the silence of her room, one question echoed louder than the rest. Was she ready to embrace not just her talent, but the power of connection in this vibrant culinary community? The next day loomed, pregnant with possibilities and uncertainties. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the window, spilling golden warmth across her kitchen. The familiar scent of fresh coffee filled the air, but Lisa's mind was elsewhere, lost in the whirlwind of ideas that had landed in her lap while scrolling through the messages the night before. Excitement zapped through her as she sipped her coffee, replaying Mia's message. It felt thrilling to imagine a cooking session with a competitor, merging their creative minds and techniques. After jotting down some potential dishes for a potential collaboration, Lisa's heart raced. She shouldn't be wasting time. With the competition just a month away, she needed to get moving if she wanted to stand out. Firing up her laptop once more, she opened her forum thread and sent Mia a direct message, suggesting a time to meet. Was this really happening? The nervousness crept back, but she pushed it down and focused on the text blinking back at her, each word reminding her how this was exactly what she needed. Hours passed as she prepped for the week, drafting recipes, gathering ingredients, and setting out sleek notes on flavor pairing. The thrill of merging her ideas with Mia's began to overshadow her fears. Each snippet of inspiration sharpened her focus, transforming the swirling anxiety into something tangible, a clear plan. But then came the gut punch. She stumbled across another post, this time from a contestant who had just lost a mentor unexpectedly. The raw emotion in the words ignited something deep within Lisa. She felt the ache of loss and reflected on her own journey, wondering if a mentor could actually be the key to her success. Could she reach out to Chef Franklin directly? Just as she mustered the courage to acknowledge that vulnerability, a message appeared. It was Jake again. "Don't wait for the perfect moment. Create it," he wrote, echoing her inner dialogue. In that moment, Lisa realized she couldn't just sit back hoping for a magical connection. She had to be bold and go after it. Fueled by the passion that had sparked in her earlier exchanges, she decided to draft an email to Chef Franklin. The thought of it left her breathless. Should she mention the competition, or focus on the inspirations he had instilled in her since she began her culinary journey? Each sentence felt more daunting than the last, but she leaned into the discomfort, feeling as if this could be her moment of truth. After several failed drafts, she hesitantly clicked send. The email felt both exhilarating and terrifying, her heart racing as if she had just taken a leap off a precipice. Now what? She whispered to herself, feeling simultaneously exhilarated and defeated. There was now no turning back. What would he say? Would he even respond? A sudden ping made her jump. An email alert. She barely breathed as she opened it. It was Mia. I'm all in. Let us meet tomorrow. Lisa's heart soared. This felt right. But as she prepared to celebrate, questions twisted in her gut. Was she really ready to expose the parts of herself that were raw and unrefined? What if that made her vulnerable to criticism, especially when they cooked together? But with the taste of possibilities in the air, she smiled. Perhaps vulnerability was a necessary ingredient in the recipe for success. As day turned to night, Lisa's heart swelled with hope. But the echoes of doubt lurked, leaving her to wonder. Could taking risks in the kitchen expand her culinary journey far beyond what she imagined? With a determined nod, she whispered to herself, tomorrow is just the beginning. All she could do now was wait for the next wave of possibilities to roll in. What awaited her when she stepped into that kitchen with Mia? The sun rose the next day, casting a warm glow that danced across the kitchen. Lisa felt the energy pulsating through her, her nerves electrified with anticipation. Today was the day she would meet Mia. Shivers of excitement coursed through her veins as she brewed another pot of coffee, the aroma wrapping around her like a comforting embrace. She glanced at the clock, then back to her notes. The menu she had crafted was ambitious, and she couldn't shake the doubt that taunted her. What if her ideas fell flat? What if Mia didn't tea like her style? Shaking off the negativity, Lisa reminded herself that this was about collaboration, about exploring new heights together. After a quick shower and a few moments in front of the mirror, she felt ready. She chose a simple but elegant outfit, something that reflected her personality without overshadowing her culinary talents. Taking a final glance at her reflection, she whispered, "You've got this," and stepped out into the day filled with potential. They agreed to meet at a charming cafe that had a vibrant atmosphere. As she approached, her heart thumped loudly. Lisa spotted Mia already seated, her bright smile cutting through the tension. It was infectious. "Hey there." Mia waved, and Lisa felt the starting pangs of anxiety begin to dissolve. They exchanged warm greetings, and Lisa felt herself relax as conversation flowed. Mia was passionate and articulate, her excitement for food bubbling just beneath the surface. They delved into their favorite dishes, sharing stories about their culinary journeys that felt strangely familiar. But then, as they began discussing their upcoming cooking session, Mia's eyes twinkled with mischief. "How about we add a twist? Let us throw in a surprise ingredient, something neither of us would normally use." Lisa's mind raced. A challenge? It ignited something primal and exhilarating within her. "I'm in. How about lavender?" she suggested, grinning at the prospect of pushing boundaries. "Lavender it is." Mia laughed, and just like that, it felt like the air around them thickened with creativity. They began sketching out potential dishes, and the collaboration turned into a dance of ideas, each feeding off the other's energy. Lisa felt empowered, as if every stroke of her pen captured a piece of who she was as a chef. But then, somewhere beneath the excitement, the doubts crept back. Would Mia's culinary style overshadow her own? Was she really bringing enough to the table? There it was again, that nagging fear. Was it really possible for them to create something remarkable together? Just then, Mia leaned in, her expression shifting to one of sincerity. "You know, we're all a little lost at times. What's important is that we keep pushing ourselves. You're talented, Lisa." Those words were like a lifeline thrown into the tumultuous sea of her self-doubt. "Thanks, I needed that," Lisa replied, a soft smile forming on her lips. It felt like a moment of truth. Even the best chefs faced uncertainties. With Mia's encouragement buzzing in her mind, the spark of creativity surged as they wrapped up their meeting. Lisa knew she had to tread into uncharted territory, embracing both the risks and the rewards. That evening, she returned home, her heart equally heavy with responsibility and light with hope. As she arranged her ingredients, she stared at the empty countertop, ready to be filled with creativity and flavor. What had begun as fear now evolved into a challenge she was eager to face. How could this unlikely partnership transform her approach to cooking? The kitchen felt charged with promise as she prepared to dive into the unknown. But would her collaboration with Mia ignite the spark she so desperately needed, or was it a recipe for disaster? With her heart racing, she wondered, What awaited her when she combined their culinary visions for the competition? The day of their cooking session for the competition finally arrived. The sun shone brightly, lighting up Lisa's kitchen with a hopeful glow. She took a moment to soak it all in the vibrant colors of the fresh ingredients, the rhythm of her heart beating with excitement, and the laughter awaiting her arrival. Mia arrived promptly, her energy radiating like sunlight. Ready to create something magical? She beamed, and Lisa felt her own enthusiasm lift like a kite in the wind. Absolutely, she replied, feeling an infectious warmth pulse between them. Together, they set up their stations. An array of colorful ingredients sprawled across the countertop. Lavender twinkled beside vibrant heirloom tomatoes and fresh basil. Mia chopped vegetables energetically, while Lisa focused on combining flavors. They chatted and laughed, each sharing snippets of their life experiences, weaving a bond strengthened by mutual aspirations. As they worked side by side, Lisa found that Mia didn't overshadow her creativity, but complemented it. Their ideas flowed seamlessly, their enthusiasm igniting new paths of inspiration. Mia suggested unexpected flavor pairings, and Lisa dove headfirst into experimenting, feeling the sense of freedom that collaboration brought. But just when things felt perfect, a lingering doubt began to creep back. They were moving toward a new territory, and with each added ingredient, Lisa felt herself wavering. What if this doesn't work? She questioned, catching an anxious glance from Mia. It will, Lisa. We're capturing our stories. It's already beautiful, Mia assured her, squeezing her shoulder as a wave of warmth traveled through Lisa. It suddenly struck her this wasn't just about the competition. It was about growth, experience, and the bonds formed in the kitchen. Okay, let us just enjoy this, Lisa declared, reigniting her spirit of adventure. They pressed on, flourishing in their unique ways, bending expectations of the competition into a place of creativity and expression. As they plated their final dish, it came alive, a feast of colors, aromas, and stories reflecting laughter and tears alike. This is it, Lisa exclaimed, her heart racing with pride. They admired their work, excited every time they caught glimpses of each other's excitement. The time came for them to deliver their creation to the judges, a moment that felt surreal. The lights above sparkled, and the audience's energy buzzed with anticipation. As Lisa stepped forward, her pulse quickened but excitement pulsed alongside. This was a moment to share not just the flavors of their dish, but also the magic of their partnership. We created this dish, Lisa began, her voice steady, to honor our journey and the communities that inspire us. As she discussed the ingredients, the judges leaned in, nodding with fascination. The first judge took a cautious bite, savoring the flavors woven in the dish. This is delightful. The lavender adds a surprising touch. He looked at Lisa with encouraging eyes. But it's your story of togetherness that elevates it further. Then the second judge chimed in. What struck me is how fearless you both are. The balance between flavors reflects both fun and depth. Each bite feels like a new experience. Lisa felt her heart soar. Each word from the judges echoed the journey she had taken, how far she had come from self-doubt to celebration. In those glorious moments, as they awaited the final announcement, Lisa felt undeniably proud. Regardless of the outcome, she had already won. The tension built up as the judges took a moment to confer. Lisa and Mia held their breath as the first judge finally cleared his throat. Today's winner is. He paused for effect, and Lisa's anxious heart hammered in her chest. Just then, the judge broke into a broad smile. Lisa and Mia, a wave of jubilation crashed over them, followed by cheers from the audience. The weight of doubt and uncertainty melted away, leaving only elation and the warmth of triumph. They embraced tightly, the trophy a testament not just to their culinary prowess, but to the bond they had built and the journeys they had traveled. Moments later, as the applause rang in her ears, Lisa turned to Mia. We did it. I couldn't have done this without you. Mia grinned back, her eyes sparkling. No, we couldn't. This was about us, our stories coming together. In that instant, something profound shifted within Lisa. It wasn't just about the kitchen competition. It was about friendship, community, and transforming fear into culinary art. Later that evening, as the sun dipped low and cast a golden glow across Maple Grove, Lisa stood in her kitchen, reflecting. The trophies sparkled on the counter, every glimmer a reminder of new beginnings. Let us keep pushing ourselves, okay? She told Mia, who was now a dear friend and partner. We have so much more to explore together. Absolutely. Mia laughed. With hearts aligned, Lisa found clarity amidst the uncertainty ahead. She still had challenges to face, but now she understood. The journey was about connection, growth, and daring to embrace all that was unknown. As she looked toward tomorrow, hope ignited like a flame deep within her. The new chapter wasn't just about cooking. It was about life, love, and opportunity ready to be savored. Now, it's your turn to step into your journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now, and don't wait not even one more second to share. True fans, let's go.